is still just 21 years old, and the Manchester City man is now on loan at Girona after a relatively successful spell with Celtic in Scotland. In recent seasons, it's become increasingly common for English players to move abroad in a bid to impress and gain playing time. The likes of Jadon Sancho appear to have paved a path for youthful prospects, given his early success at Borussia Dortmund this season. Most players that have made this step, though, have moved to Germany, given the expansive nature of the league and the emphasis on developing talent. Roberts, though, is currently developing in Spain. But is the City youngster developing at Girona? And what type of player is he turning into? Let's take a look. So far at the Spanish club, Roberts has played just 410 minutes of football, having been hindered by a hamstring injury since mid-December. Despite the small sample size, though, Roberts has still offered enough to get a general overview of the player he's becoming. He's primarily been deployed on the right wing in Spain, but is left-footed, indicating that he's very much an inside forward with a preference to cut inside. When focusing on his underlying numbers, the area that stands out most by some distance is his dribbling. Roberts averages 11.5 dribbles per 90 minutes in the league, with a very good success rate of 72%. 6% per Wyscout. Those numbers are impressive when compared to virtually any player, with Roberts averaging the third most dribbles per 90 in the whole league, even above Lionel Messi. The Argentine success rate is higher, with 75.6%, but the fact that Roberts is essentially in the same league for dribbling, at least based on the figures, is something worth noting. Despite being one of the league's best dribblers, though, he doesn't appear to offer an awful lot in many other areas. The fact he's playing for a relatively low-level side in Girona probably isn't helping in that regard. Roberts averages 1.5 key passes per 90 according to Understat, which is a little below what would be perceived as good for a creative player in a low-quality team. In comparison, Wilfried Zaha is averaging 1.55, Felipe Anderson is averaging 1.84, and Gerard Deulofeu 2.09. It's worth remembering, however, that Roberts is just 21, so he has room to improve. In terms of attacking output, Roberts is not delivering at Girona. He's yet to score or assist in the league in 10 appearances, and his expected goals, XG, support that. Roberts' XG per 90 is just 0.1, and his expected assists, XA, is 0.07. This means that Roberts is highly unlikely to be involved in goals or assists, and although that's understandable to an extent, given his club's stature, they still don't represent good numbers. Conclusion: presently, Roberts is little more than a very good dribbler, with his numbers in that area rivaling the league's best. In terms of his actual offensive output, though relative to goals being scored, Roberts offers little and must aim to improve as his career progresses. At this point, or once the prospect returns to his parent club, it's worth molding him into the most effective profile he can be. Given his dribbling numbers and his reasonable amount of key passes, it's logical to suggest that the English prospect can become a wide creative threat, perhaps in the form of Deulofeu at Watford or previously Everton. By doing so, Roberts could be utilized as a creative, unpredictable attacker and should thus draw attention from opposing players, but won't have an excessive responsibility to score. Ultimately, it remains to be seen what type of player that Roberts will become, as well as whether he'll fulfill his potential in Manchester. Despite that though, his early showings in Spain offer some light into the player he's developing into.